I'm now extremely excited to introduce our keynote speaker for the 2018 Eagle Scout Recognition Dinner, Mr. Devin Christopher. Mr. Christopher is one of the well-respected sports announcer. He also currently works for the Angels baseball and the Anaheim Ducks. Mr. Christopher has also done multiple commercials, voiceovers, award shows, and other accolades that you have heard throughout Orange County. Mr. Christopher has had various challenges, but through his young life, against the odds, he's overcome them and found a way to achieve success. Mr. Christopher is involved with several charities, but his passion among being a motivational speaker is also helping them build their future and find their direction in life. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to my friend, our keynote speaker, Mr. Devin Christopher.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, first of all, I want to start this off by saying thank you. Thank you for trusting me to be here and to be able to be in a position as a man to be called the keynote speaker for tonight. I've always been a firm believer that in order to call yourself a man, you had to have achieved things in your life and done things where other people can actually look at you and say, you're a man. So a deep thank you for honoring me to be able to have a moment to talk to you. I hope that some of the things that I have to say this evening, that my story might relate to some of you guys, or some of the advice I might leave with you. If there is somebody here at the end of the night that feels that something I might say might resonate with you and you'll take into your future, I thank you deeply. If during my talking some of you might actually be thinking, what is he doing up there? And God, I'm tired, and you fall asleep. It's on Will and Vincent. Have a good conversation with them. They're the ones that brought me here tonight. So I'm going to start by saying a little bit about how I started in my life. I'm going to jump to later, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my accolades and who I am today. But then most importantly, I'm going to tell you the most important thing was my journey on how I got here and how it relates to you. So first of all, I am you. That's always been my hook. I talk a lot to, most of the times, unfortunate kids as a motivational speaker, talking to them about their futures, about their life, all the way from the power of the right choice, the right decision, all the way down to having a plan, to the power and the best thing about tomorrow is that it's a brand new day. We talk about financial literacy, a lot of different aspects in life. But for me, when I say I am you, I had my own challenges. We can't compare anybody's worst day, tough day, other people's challenges to anybody else. I mean, let's face it, sometimes your biggest challenge in a bad day is, I dropped my iPhone, my glass broke on it. But in my case, I was born without a family. I had them for the first 2 years of my life, don't know anything about them. I think you don't at 2 years of age. I spent my entire life in the system. I grew up in foster care, 14 different group homes and facilities in my entire life. Most of the time, statistically, especially even more so back in my day, I'm currently 50, I'll be 51 in July, it was even tougher. It was immensely challenging. When you turned 18 years of age, they gave you a check for $650, a Greyhound ticket to anywhere you want to go, and a pat on the back and good luck, and they really believed that was something to help you out for your future. So we always knew that our life was going to have this dramatic dead end at the age of 18. Statistically, we were kids that ended up the juveniles. We ended up rebelling. We ended up hating life and why me and all that, making a lot of bad decisions, acting out. I was in a total of 14 different facilities my entire life. And our biggest activity, literally, I grew up in Boston. We were there on the East Coast, and our most exciting activity was ping pong. The only other big activity that we had that was exciting was we chopped wood to raise money to support the group home. And the other biggest exciting aspect that was really fun, who gets to drive the tractor today? And that's all we had to a certain point in my life. Now I'm going to jump ahead, tell you who I am today, and then we're going to talk about the journey and how it relates to scouting. One little element of my story was heard by these gentlemen and a few other people, and then they asked me to come here to share because it is a different aspect, I think. But today, I'm fortunate enough to be called a sports announcer, also another term that I travel the country. I was in 6 different flights just last week, 3 different states. I'm in 1 to 2 states a week. I travel the country as what they call a VOG. I'm called a voice of God. So I'm the guy that, and when I speak in different terms in different ways. So I'm one of those guys that's, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, or welcome to the 13th Annual Golden Heart Awards. And now, but I also, you might have heard me on things such as like, tune in tonight, 7 o'clock UPN, Channel 13, or Disney Rides in Orlando, where I'm the voice that says, please keep your arms inside the ride at all times. Most of all, here, I'm the guy that normally I don't walk out this calm. I walk out on the stage and say, good evening, baseball fans. Welcome to Angels Stadium, the home of your Angels. And I get that. I've also been blessed enough, and I'm always in awe. The first time I ever got a job, I don't take any of it for granted. Every day is a gift. Every day truly is a gift. You know, the very first time I was put in trust, like, hey, you're going to do a Q&A with a baseball player. I was like, oh, cool. Now not just reading scripts. I became the public appearance guy. I became the person that they put out in front of everybody. And now when I get to sit there and I'm the one entrusted where I'm going to do a Q&A and an interview with legends such as Rod Carew, you know, Mickey Hatcher, Adam Kennedy. And even that one, it's a little bit different. It's kind of like, all right, sports fans, right now we're sitting here with 2 of my favorite baseball players. This is Mickey Hatcher and Adam Kennedy. And then we carry the interview. And when one guy doesn't talk so much, I got to be the guy that picks up the pace and keeps the conversation going so it doesn't make it sound like, okay, why didn't he talk a lot more than he did? Because when I talk to Mickey Hatcher, he can talk. But, you know, I've been with the Anaheim Ducks in production with those guys for quite some time. I've been with them for 16 years. Next season is going to be my 17th season. Although we got taken out pretty quick there. You know, and then, of course, with Angels baseball, which I've been for 9 seasons. And then you guys, did you have any idea you paired me up with a Dodger fan? No. He's actually, his family's a really big Angels fan. And I got to tell you something, too. You know, knowing that I was paired up with somebody, you know, the whole concept was really cool to me. But having a conversation with you, you know, I really got to say, you are quite an impressive young man. You know, you've got a passion for your future, for what you're doing. You're excited about it. You know, and congratulations to your parents, too. Definitely want to acknowledge them. So I'm quite impressed with you. So aside from award shows, TV commercials, you know, it also says in my accolades, I worked quite some time with Gene Simmons from LA Kiss, the National Hot Rod Association, the Los Angeles Lakers, and we still get pulled from company to company, and of course, I spend most of my time on the road flying around. But aside from that, the only other accolade that I'm the proudest of is I have a foundation called Give Hope, affecting the hearts and homes of kids directly. What I've always tried to do, there's a lot of homes here where whenever they got to raise money for the home, if they got to raise $10 for that home to survive for that year and all they raised were $9, there are organizations and other sponsors that will make up that other dollar. But there's a lot of things that those kids are missing. And I knew that from my experience, the personal things. True story, Carla knows to call me up. And this is I also have 6 foster kids myself, 6 foster girls. And she called me up and she's like, Devin, okay, I got something else. They always know at a couple different, call me. They have my number. They get on with a house parent and they call me. I want to play softball. It's something this simple. She needs money for a baseball bat and a glove. And without that, she can't play. She does not get to be a part of something. So what we've tried to do is to stand out, and there was another gentleman, CJ's mom, has kind of a similar story that she was sharing with me earlier, you know, with one of the gentlemen that were here who lost his father. You know, think about this with kids, and you probably do a lot knowing her story, what she did. If a kid does not have a chance to be part of an organization, scouting, sports, you know, a musical theater, whatever it is, what are those kids doing? You know, and you guys chose to do this. You want to do this. You have the desire. And that's just amazing in itself. that your biggest addiction isn't social media and being on a cell phone and playing video games. I mean, you are true young men. And I mean that, not boys. You are young men. You are making the right choices and the right decisions, and that's what life is about. So for me, I will tell you, so we pay the money for this. Or something as simple as something that these kids never had, a bonfire on the beach. We took it a step further, and I got them a beach butler, and I even told them, hey, ham it up. They had the fire stoked. They've got their treats, their beverages, and they can snap their finger and say, hey, butler, and have fun with this. We do these extra little things for these kids that make a difference. Or give them a basket. They get to go in a store. They get to pick anything they want and fill this basket. And every time they do, it's like a Christmas morning for these guys. And they get really, really excited. So now to kind of go backwards. And then I'll say the part that correlates with what you guys did for me. Because I will say, you guys truly saved a life. Mine. And I'll make a point with that here, but I'm going to start with something. When I was 12 years of age, and Will doesn't know this part yet, and some people know this when I talk to foster kids. I'm in a group home. That group home closes. And I'm sitting there thinking, God, this is a bummer. You do think, why me? Why? The group home closes, and there was a policy that had never been practiced before, where if that home closes, only an emergency, if they don't have a place to put a child, to put a kid, they can drop you off at juvenile hall for no more than 6 weeks. A home closed, they dropped me, Andre, and one other young lady off at juvenile hall. Man, this was going to be the most excruciating 6 weeks of my life, because you have to follow by all the rules that all the juveniles do, and I didn't do anything wrong. But here, I had to take a hold of my outlook in life. And the next thing that happened, also, I heard my social worker changed. My new social worker gets her file. She is so backed up. By the time she grabbed my file and she realized where I was at, she said she closed the file, picked up the paperwork, and drove to me ASAP to start the procedures to get me out 13 months later. So as a juvenile, I was locked up 13 months of my life. So imagine as a kid, at this point, my only opportunities in life, were none. There we had ping pong, you had TV time for 1 hour. That was the only thing. So then at that particular point in time, it was right before the end. This is even kind of a cool thing, but it makes you think a little bit. I broke my ankle when I was in there in rec. The guard has to take me to the hospital. The policy was, no matter what your situation was, you got to be handcuffed to the crutches. What am I going to do? Run? But this was policy. So walking in, he even knew my story, and there were kids pointing, Mom, look. When we were leaving, he said, look, I'm going to break a couple rules. He goes, I'm not going to cuff you. He goes, do me a favor. I'm going to walk out way ahead of you. You walk out by yourself, not next to a guard. You don't need to be embarrassed. You didn't do anything wrong. So you got to think about where my mindset is at this point in time. On the way home, he said, are you hungry? Because of previous conversation, he knew there was, I made a comment about McDonald's. And he took me to McDonald's, which was against policy, and I ate McDonald's. Guess what? How old are you the first time you ever ate at McDonald's? But young, right? Everybody did. That was the first time I ever ate at McDonald's in my entire life. So that's gonna just be kind of the sum of all my challenges. And that's one thing, that word challenge, I want you to embrace. I would hope you embrace. I don't ever say I have problems. I call them challenges. And I also say that they are teachable moments. They truly are. Every challenge in our life is a teachable moment. At this point in time, I get my first foster home. The young men that are in there are scouts. Then I get to join the scouting organization. When I became a scout, and I got to have the experiences that I did, or the funnest time of my life was going to camp. Camp was the coolest thing in the world. Scouting, and I got to say, with the support of the people that paid the money and helped me to get in, such as like what you guys do, what the parents do for the kids. You know, they gave me an opportunity. That was the first time I ever had a childhood. The coolest feeling in the world was the first time I put on that uniform. I felt like I belonged to something, you know, but even then, I was lucky that I was able to have a perception to actually see all the positive in things because it kept continuing. I was bombarded with it. You know, seeing people at scouting events and everything, it was the first time I got to see what a father was like to their kids, a mother, parents. It was the first time I got to see what it was like to be a part of a family, you know, because it wasn't just, you know, it was what you guys breed. It's what you exemplify is family. That even to me, learning it then became my catchphrase at Angels Stadium, where I always close out saying, thanks for coming here to be a part of our family and allowing us to be a part of yours. We hope you enjoyed your experience, your time, and your stay here at Angels Stadium. It was something that was kind of built in me, and I always use that term about being part of a family because I was always part of somebody else's family. And I've always learned that in business and in work and in jobs, it's such a much more better atmosphere when you do refer to it as family. But here's the key thing. You know, the part that these gentlemen heard that, you know, captured their attention was this part of my story. I wanted to go to college and become somebody. And I knew I could because in scouting, I got to achieve so much. You kidding me? Ping pong was all I had. And now I get to do archery, I get to do canoeing, sailing, all these different activities. I got to shoot a gun, really? You know, I mean, all the different stuff and the achievements, and then people saying, I'm proud of you, and awarding me with something. I never even had a mom or dad. It was kind of like you guys were my, you know, scouting were the first people to tell me, I'm proud of you, or congratulations, you earned something, you achieved something. You know, most important too, I do want to take one moment here to acknowledge all the parents, not just the sponsors and everybody else involved, but the parents. You know, for you to, there are a lot of parents that don't, to be honest, they don't take the initiative to help set up their children for success. I don't know why I keep looking at you. You're the closest guy to me. But, you know, the thing is, I'm going to move over here. So, but the thing is, all right, well, I'll stare at you. How's that? So, but the thing is, it is our job as parents to set up our children for success. I'll be bold and honest with that because there are some parents that don't do that. Maybe they don't have the knowledge to do so, but they can help support you in doing so. Yeah, pivot your chair so we can, I'll stand back. Okay. You know, by supporting their desires to play, you know, in activities in sports or such as you are scouting. So for you to have parents that support that, stand up for a sec. Seriously, all the scouts, stand up. We've acknowledged a lot of people here today, but for all the scouts, I know your parents are scattered around, but take a moment to applaud and acknowledge your parents. All right, you can sit down now. You know, and to applaud people like these gentlemen over here, Vincent, Will, your desire, your passion, your love, your articulation up here when you're talking. I mean, you guys, you've got this down, and you are amazing people, and you're supporting them more than you know. Interesting thing is, I went to college to become a psychologist. I wanted to be a counselor for kids. I wanted to work with challenged kids, challenged families, hence my foundation still with what I do. And I knew, excuse the word, I was screwed. When I turned 18, what's going to happen? There's no way. There's even some gift grants, but I was still at a standstill. You know, the gift grants, I don't have to pay it back, great, but what about the rest of the money? How am I going to afford to stay at a place, buy the books, eat some food? You know, it just wasn't going to happen. So I knew I'm at a dead end. But guess what? I did something scouting taught me. I wrote 2 letters. You didn't teach me how to write a letter, but I'll tell you the part you taught. You know, I wrote 2 letters real quick. Here's who I am. Please give a kid a chance, an opportunity. The other letter said, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for money for food. Buy me the meal tickets and make sure you have it set with them. I can't, return it. But I'm not looking for money for books. Buy the books, stamp the receipts, non-refundable. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking for an opportunity to educate myself, and please give a kid a chance. And here's how I did it. I remembered how I got my money for camp. So I did the same thing. I remember going door to door with all my buddies, raising money. Hey, sir. And, and I'm talking to you about, trying to go to camp for the summer, and I'm raising money, and I'm asking for donations. At that point, I don't know how you guys are set up, if you sell things now or what you do, but back then it was just straight up asking for donations. So I did the same thing for college. I literally took those letters and I went door to door. I took a bus to other neighborhoods. I went to business. I went to a city hall meeting. Made some ladies on the board cry with my story. And I said, please, I'm looking for help and I'm looking for sponsors. I found enough. I went to college. And I was given that opportunity. I thought nothing of it, and it was a gift that was given to me with that opportunity with scouting because, you guys taught me how to be social. You taught me how to be a part of a team. You taught me how to achieve something in life, how to set my goals for something in my life. It kind of correlates a little bit with something I heard you say earlier. I always say that you have got to live your life. Practice living your life to be a better man, a better woman, a better boss, a better son, daughter, a better everything in every category tomorrow than we are today. And never stop doing that. I think of things where I grew up so much more just in my 40s to 50s. If you could practice your life to always live your life to be a better person in every way tomorrow, and you guys exemplify that. I just always like putting it into that term. Remember, don't take things personal when you do have challenges. You weren't targeted, it's just life. Somebody said to me once when I was young, don't take things personal. It just happens in life, some of these challenges. Use the word challenge instead of problem, right? Set your goals in your life. You're already doing that. So you guys are going to be able to bring this into your future. They teach you this. You're going to be able to bring this into your careers. You guys know you can achieve your goals, correct? I'm looking at you. All right, everybody. So for me, I deeply thank each and every one of you, what scouting gave me the opportunity to do, what it taught me. I could go on and on and on about different aspects of it, what it actually did for my life. But just that one simple principle that I did something I've never heard anybody else do, and I went out asking for an opportunity to go to college. So I thank you on that. You guys gave me a chance to have a future. You gave me friendship with people. Friends of commonality is really, really huge. You join an activity, whether it's sports or whether it's scouting, you've been doing it all night. You can call me Devin from now on, but he's been saying, yes, sir. We learned yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We learned how to be respectable. You guys have learned how to be respectable being a part of this, right? So, for me, in my story, in my journey, I deeply thank you. I know that it's all about me making the right choices, and I can control my destiny and my future, but none of this. I wouldn't be half the man I was for me if scouting didn't exist. I don't see anything else as a kid that would have given me that opportunity. So if I could leave you with this, to just please always remember, have a plan, set your goals. Always know to try to be a better person tomorrow than we are today. That every challenge in life, we should all try to commit to not calling problems problems, to call them challenges. To always remember that every challenge is a teachable moment. When one of my 6 foster kids has a challenge, and due to them being foster kids and their individual stories, we have some deep emotional challenges. And in a certain way, I never get upset. I never get stressed out. I get excited because this has now afforded me an opportunity to teach that child a better way to think, a better way to believe, and take accountability in your assets of the value of what you do have in your life. Because we all, even us, have had sad days, down days, some we can't even understand why. But you got to realize what a gift you have. Maybe there are some of you here don't have your parents. I don't know. Maybe some of you have one of your parents. There could be a loss. And literally sometimes you literally are having a bad day because you broke your iPhone. But you got to realize you can walk, you can talk, you were born with eyesight, you were born with a gift to achieve, to conquer, to be better men. And always know, gentlemen, earn the right to call yourself a man. Earn it in every way and own it. So I don't know what my time is right now. That's basically it for me. So I just want to say thank you for what it did for my life. It is a different aspect that, there's a grown man out there that if you've heard me announce in Angel Stadium, you have no idea. You set me up for success. This organization did. So I deeply thank you for this opportunity, and it was such a pleasure meeting you, gentlemen, and I thank you for trusting me to come here just to share my story with you. So thank you.